Alrighty, welcome back. This is MDawg, and we are continuing our series here. And yeah, it's 4 in the morning. Let's get trolling. So, as you may remember from our last episode, we are going to try something a little brave for the size of our gear. That is, we're going to try fishing with an actual hunter spoon here at Quarry. Cast a lot farther than little spinner baits do. And let's see what we can catch. I'll be updating you as we do catch fish. Certainly the larger fish I will let you see as we catch them. I'll keep you here for a couple minutes just to see if we catch anything early. But the main thing I'm wanting to do is continue to level up spin fishing on our spinnerbait, which is over here. Oh, interesting. But we're curious to see how well this hunter spoon will do. Hunter spoons. At this point, you know, we certainly use wobblers a good bit, but there was a time that you could just absolutely not compete with how good hunter spoons were. And they still do great to this day. I would say wobblers also do really well, and there's other spoons to consider, but a variety of different hunter spoons are often going to be found on the weeklies list and are worth your attention. A lot of times people are trying to figure out, it's almost like we get distracted by the handmade lures because rightfully so, a lot of people use them. They are very good, but there are some really good store-bought lures, and I would put those hunter spoons up to anything else in terms of being a really good lure to consider. Now, you'll notice we've got 2 in a row that are markers. If you saw last episode on the spinnerbaits, we caught a lot of non-marker fish, too small. And that will happen here as well, but it's the time of day. It's 5 in the morning. Fishing's going to always be a little better early in the morning before it gets too hot, and then also in the evening before it gets too late. And that's certainly true of trolling and trying to catch a lot of these predator fish that we're going after when we are trolling. Just continuing to check the rod tips to make sure we don't have something on. And at least for now, I think what I'm going to do is just sort of circle around this 4-meter area here. And maybe sometimes go straight over the top of it, but we're not going to go all the way over to the western side, but we are going to at least dip into the western side a little bit. Over here is kind of where we saw that a couple of those savans last time. I think it's worth checking out over here, but we do want to spend a good bit of our time, you know, kind of staying in this 4 quadrant and then maybe dipping into the 15 a little bit too. Especially now that we have that hunter spoon on. Alright, here we go. Just picked it up off the rod stand. This is our first decent sized fish on the spoon. So now we're going to kind of come alongside of it and see if we have any control over it, or if it's still burning our reel. We'll sort of stay in parallel to it. We don't mind getting a little closer to it, but we don't want to point the boat right at it. That's a good way to lose a nice fish. I think we're about to pull this one in. It's going to be hard for him to pull against us at this point. Ooh, it's going under the boat. Not what we want. Sort of lost it here. It is under the boat. We sort of ended up doing the exact thing I didn't want to do. Okay. Let it run a little bit if it needs to. I'm not comfortable turning the trolling motor off yet. We probably could. I don't think this fish is going anywhere. Oh, there it is. 5.827. Nice lake trout. Very cool. And we caught that right as we were making the turn out here. In this area here. Which is one thing I like about fishing with spoons is, you know, they're pretty heavy. And a lot of times if you ever get used to fishing with spoons, or spinnerbaits for that matter, but especially spoons, you'll notice a lot of times they catch fish on the drop. So you'll notice when you're trolling with them, many times when you sort of make a turn, that sort of allows the spoon enough slack where it starts to drop, and then it sort of pulls back as you start trolling away from it again. And on that drop is a lot of times when you'll see some fish come up and hit it. So even if you are fishing with a wobbler, sometimes it's nice to have a spoon and a wobbler together because they're sort of hitting different. Well, as the wobbler has force pulling against it, it's going to the same depth, you know, all the time. But as the, what do we want to do here? I guess we'll turn. But as the spoon tends to change depth in the water a lot more. All right, I kind of got confused. I thought this was going to be just like a small fish, but it's a little bigger than I thought. It's actually our nicest grayling yet, 2.11, and that was on the spiker, by the way. And right in here, we got something small over here as well. Amazing how much farther this spoon goes out. Probably farther than it needs to. Go to 16. That's an Arctic char. It's probably going to be our best Arctic char yet, right? 2.5 kilo. Where are we? Yeah. Whole goal here is 25%. Look how quickly we've gotten to 18%. Almost no time at all. Now it'll slow down a little bit, but it just doesn't take much time. And if you start getting impatient, put 2 spinner baits back on, increase your bite rate. Or if you feel like the small fish are no longer hitting enough, you know, use your spoon so that you can catch the occasional big fish if they're more likely to hit. The nice thing is, at Corey, we're catching a pretty good variety of fish. Probably helps a little bit. That is 2 Ventus in a row that did not give us points for what it's worth. See about this perch. 18.5. I don't think I would necessarily go to 2 spoons, at least not all the time if your main goal, like it is for us right now, is to level up spin fishing. Because I do think that would slow it down pretty dramatically. But if you're just trying to, you know, catch some nice fish at Corey and see what you can hook into, can't blame you there. Let's make sure we have room to turn around here. Yeah, we should be fine. So this on the Spiker 18. It's tough because we caught some nice fish on the Spiker 17 as well. I don't think the Spiker 18 is like that far ahead, if at all. But that is a nice Arctic char. And you can see even with like how much we are catching right now. You know, we've spent what, like a day here at Corey? It's our second day. And we not only hit 21, but we're a decent little percent into heading towards 22. So at least at this level, catching these fish at Corey Lake, it's a reasonable amount of XP. Which is just kind of a bonus. Oh, this is interesting. It's like, whatever this is, it's just big enough to kind of pull the line, but not really. Oh. Okay, I guess we'll turn the boat around so at least the trolling motor's not making it even harder to pull it in. I think we'll pull this fish in pretty quickly once we're not making our life even harder by trolling against it. It's an Arctic char. 19.1 and a nice little Arctic char. Arctic. By the way, still no Corey char. Not too much of a surprise though. Corey char, and at times the Savon trout can be fairly rare. I think this around. Now, one thing we have not caught a single thing of, and this is not always this way, but we have not caught a single pike. Certainly, the closer you get to shore and weeds areas, you increase your likelihood of running into one. But you can run into them anywhere. It just happens to have not happened here so far. When the pike are more active, even in the deeper spots, you just have to take into consideration that you're occasionally going to lose lures. They're going to bite through. They've got too sharp a teeth. And you can use steel leaders if you want to make sure you catch the pike. Problem is, those thick steel leaders scare away most of the other fish. Oh! Woo! Hope you got to see that jump. If you didn't, just, rewind it. That was pretty slick. This is actually on the spinnerbait, which is fun to see the Laker hit the spinnerbait. Which, by the way, I think we do catch a higher percentage of lake trout. I think on the spinnerbaits. I don't know. I may be wrong. We may just catch a higher percentage of everything. I mean, we might just be catching a bigger bite rate on spinnerbaits, but seems like maybe a little more variety on spoons. Well, it's just different. I shouldn't say more variety, because, like, you're not catching Ventus and stuff like that on spoons as often. So, just different fish on the different, or spinnerbait versus spoon. Some overlap, too, though. Occasionally even see the eyed. Run it right up next to that island. Oh, interesting. 2 in a row. Decent sized fish coming in on the spinnerbait. Laker again. $19.9. Yeah, especially during the hot part of the day, I wouldn't want to just have spoons out, I don't think. Unless you're going to really sort of AFK fish. The spinnerbait's what keeps me awake right now. Like, spoon is very slow when it's not the hot peak times of fishing. I don't know what I'm doing here. We are running really close to this shore. Definitely run the risk of catching pike over here. That is a big perch. What in the world? Oh, man. It's not been a great day of fishing. Except for we've done an amazing job at progressing towards our goal of eventually unlocking jigging. And that is the main reason why we're here. So, it's all good. But, we're not killing it. Overall. But that's often the case here at Quarry. I mean, it can be pretty inconsistent. But even when it's inconsistent, I still think it's a lot of fun. The vine. Know what that was. I've been a little surprised. We've actually caught a decent bite rate over here on this side, so it might be better to just kind of, when nothing is just popping off, at least like it's not today, might be better just to like explore trolling over larger portions of the map, just kind of see what hits. Probably a Ventus or a grayling if I had to guess. our first pike. Very small pike. But we were just talking about those. With how amazing some of the fish models look, I don't know. Pike's not bad. The bigger ones look better, but I was wondering if pike is one that could just use maybe a fresh look, updating a little bit. I don't know though. All right, we are closing in on the end of our day here. I don't want to go too far this way. Let's just kind of stay over in this one area. As we saw last episode, 10-11 p.m. we're definitely going to start to see a major drop off in bite rate, although we could still see one or two more decent fish. But I don't know, we've just kind of, the good news is we've caught 46 fish. And that, I mean, that really is the good news, because that just goes to show you how quickly we're leveling up spin fishing. I mean, that's sort of, that's the benefits of trolling, is you get that high-powered bite rate. Not always, the quality may not always be there. But, ooh, that's our first marker pike. Be very costly to lose one of these lures, but that's what happens. Start catching pike. I was just hoping. I mean, it's that time of day, you know, you're just like, come on, one more decent fish. Let me see it. We just didn't quite have, I mean, you know, we were 2 or 3 decent fish away from, of this being a pretty good day, in terms of quality. Not like we're far off. Bite rate's there, some decent ones, but it's not quite enough. Still a lot of fun out here. Again, I have a lot of fun trolling quarry. I do need breaks. I mean, I don't, it's an Arctic char, right? Come on, don't pop off. Be a nice fish. Yes. 4.65 Arctic char. Double check cafe. I don't think anything is on cafe now that's gonna matter. 21.3. We're just like maybe even just one more day away from hitting 25. Maybe a day and a half or something. I don't know. Happening quick though. Wow. One more fish, huh? The last possible second. Another pike, isn't it? Man, the pike really responded after I called him out. All right. Hide we had was too small. Certainly did not have trophy pike or anything like that. So let's see the breakdown of the top line here. Nothing like that rainbow trout we had last time, but you know, that top line's fairly nice, fairly consistent. 169 silver, so a little better than the day before. Kind of surprises me, but I have to remember when we had 2 spinnerbaits in, especially that first half of the day, we were just catching so many tiny fish, a lot of them non-markers. So kind of interesting. Let's make sure we don't have anything else we're about to waste here. I think we're good. Alright, back up to 238 silver. We're actually doing better than I would have expected. Just not having any like intel on Corey. So we haven't really started trying different things to see what's working better. We've just picked a couple things off what usually works and also off the leaderboards, but obviously you can get more dialed in and then do even better. But all right, as always, thanks for watching. Tight line, see you next time.